Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Reading Epic Threads. I am your host, Patrick Gunnels, joining you from Spring, Texas what day is it? Well, I guess it's September 25th, 2024 at 3:23 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I certainly hope you enjoyed the election integrity call. Worked with Steve Stern on getting that put through my channel and a whole bunch of other different channels to try to spread awareness about the upcoming election and just how very hard we all need to vote our balls off. So don't forget, get your friends out there, make it too big to rig, blah, 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 blah. All right. I have one piece for you today. It is our friend Erik Carlson. And then I'm going to go make chicken karai. So how do you like that? From badlands.substack.com, JD Vance, Sidley Austin, and Q post number 238. Vance haters aren't going to like this one, by Erik Carlson. And I want to remind everybody before we begin this amazing piece, seriously, guys, heavy metals, chemtrails.
He said something that really hit home about this phenomena of chemtrails.
Manganese will make you kill your mama. How much manganese are you spraying in my neighborhood at night while I'm asleep?
Military and some commercial jets have been fitted with huge barrels of at least 49 different kinds of documented chemical poisons. Barium is toxic to all mammals. Aluminum is known to diminish kidney function and destroy brain cells and cognitive function. A problem, a serious problem.
Patent number 5003186 describes cooling the Earth with metal oxides sprayed into the stratosphere.
And I thought, well, geez, this is what I do for a living. I was finding tons and tons of large quantities of aluminum, barium, strontium in the forms of oxides and sulfates. Instead of protecting the people, we are poisoning the people.
Detox and prevent heavy metal poisoning. www.epicminerals.net. Promo code Badlands. And also don't forget the Wellness Extra capsules. They have changed the game for me. My energy levels are through the roof. Go to epicminerals.net. Use promo code Shapiro to pry 10% from my grasping hands. And if you spend more than $150, you get free shipping. Wellness Extra, guys. In addition to the amazing Zeolite Extra Spray. Change the game. Those capsules are indispensable to me now. Ask around. Look at the reviews on the website. All right. From badlands.substack.com, JD Vance, Sidley Austin, and Q drop number 238. Vance haters aren't going to like this one, by Erik Carlson. Recently, someone in the comments section asked me what I thought about Q drop number 238 of November 30th, 2017. Sidley Austin. Happy hunting. Q. Somehow this particular post went in one ear and out the other when I originally read it. I had put no time into researching this post in any way. In answering the question about what I thought about Q post number 238, I had no thoughts on the post. Why didn't I do any digging into this post early on? Maybe it's because I didn't directly discover the Q drops until about a month after this post was released, and I had to get caught up quickly on 2 months worth of posts. Therefore, I likely skimmed over some. Maybe I was just exhausted from having 2 young children at the time. Maybe I was preoccupied with the holidays, or maybe not having a connection to it in any way. It just flew over my head. I think the latter is the case here. At the time, people like the Obamas and the Clintons were obviously people I knew. Soros, I knew a little about. With 9/11, I had an emotional experience with. But Sidley Austin? Nothing. It's understandable that when Q posts included something or someone I recognized, it would draw more of my attention. Humans are strange. It is said that we like to hear the sound of our own name spoken in conversation. Our brain activity spikes when someone says our name. When I say humans are strange, I mean all of us. not just the people we see as being on the other side of the aisle. It makes sense that when we scroll by something that we have no connection to, we keep right on going. People like to hear the things they want to hear, the things they already agree with. We seek validation. Generally speaking, people don't like to have their pre-existing beliefs challenged. I get it. But we must understand this about ourselves when we are exposed to information. If it is something that goes against our preconceived understanding, we must acknowledge how we will naturally receive it. We must understand that somewhere in that 2.65 pounds of meat between our ears, a system is working to reject or ignore anything that challenges the belief system therein. If I can see this phenomenon in other people, then I must admit that it exists in me. We must all admit that we have a propensity for protecting our existing beliefs and rejecting or ignoring information that challenges those beliefs or understandings, just as a Christian protects his theological beliefs, a liberal will protect his political beliefs, or a black-pilled defeatist person will protect his negative beliefs. This protective mechanism isn't always a bad thing. It's just a thing that we have to be aware of. What was it Mark Twain said? It's easier to fool someone than to convince him that he's been fooled. As a member of the truth community, we can start to believe we have it all figured out. We believe we can't be deceived. This can be a dangerous attitude. We must always have the humility to understand that at one time, most of us were deceived as badly as the normies are today, and somewhere along the way, something triggered a change in us. But we haven't all of a sudden become immune from being fooled. To use a baseball analogy, the normies can't hit a fastball. The media just keeps throwing fastballs in the strike zone, and the normies just can't get their timing right. It's swing and miss, swing and miss. So why would the deep state do anything differently? The truthers are like the baseball player who figured out how to time a fastball. Maybe they start their swing early to catch up to the heater. But now that the truther has shown that he can hit the fastball, the deep state starts to add in some change-ups, throwing off their timing. Now the truther is way out in front of some pitches and late on others. In many cases, truthers fail to accept or understand that the deep state is feeding us some disinformation to get our timing off. We go down rabbit holes. We share information we later discover isn't true. We create division over disinformation, and the disinformation we share ruins our credibility. We appear to be crazy conspiracy theorists, even if 9 out of 10 things we say turn out to be true. That one thing we were wrong about nullifies all the truth that we may share. This is all by design. The media highlights the disinformation we share, and it justifies the normies not believing anything we have to say. Didn't you say the Hells Angels were heading to Colorado? We believe the disinformation that is created to lead us astray. We refuse to listen to anything that challenges our existing beliefs. Disinformation works best if it lines up with the things we already believe. We are so willing to accept it without vetting it. Does it make sense now why Trump couldn't just come into office in 2017 and arrest everyone who is deep state or somehow connected to the deep state on day one? Too much of the population would have freaked out. It would have shattered half the country's belief system. COVID was a perfect example of how illogical, easily manipulated, and easily panicked many of the American population can be. Imagine if Trump had locked up the people half the American population viewed as being the good guys. A civil war would have ensued. Q said that some won't face the punishment they deserve, as some have to remain in power for the nation to function. Many don't want to hear that, but it's reality. To whom does this refer? Some people in the media, in big business, and in politics. Some of these people have genuinely recognized the error of their ways. Some have had their strings cut, and some will have those strings cut in the future. Many within the deep state cabal won't be offered a deal at all, as their crimes against humanity are too severe. I've only been what I consider to be fully awake for about 7 years. I used to believe some pretty dumb stuff. I fell for the 9/11 narrative hook, line, and sinker. I fully believed it for at least 3 or 4 years before questioning any of it. I voted for both Bushes. I voted for Romney. I voted for McCain. How could I ridicule anyone for their stupidity? I took the cake. I get it. I once believed the way normies still believe today, but I don't anymore. It's possible that people can change. It's possible that someone who wasn't a big fan of Trump 2 years ago or 6 years ago might actually genuinely support him now. It's possible their hearts and minds have been changed. They aren't trying to deceive anyone. People change. People wake up. Some people still don't trust J.D. Vance because he hasn't always appeared to be a fan of Donald Trump. Some don't trust Elon Musk still. It's wise to be cautious with one's trust. But when someone's shown you they've changed, when the evidence becomes overwhelming that they're on our team, at some point you gotta let go of your animosity. Sidley Austin. When I read the Q drop saying happy hunting, I immediately thought I should be looking for some sort of corruption, but in reality, hunting is about searching for food, something good. In other words, I should keep an open mind to what I'm looking for, but I also have to be aware of where my preconceived beliefs will lead me. Some may recognize Sidley Austin as the law firm that started out of Chicago in 1866 and grew into an international law firm that now has 2,300 lawyers and 21 offices throughout the world. Some may know that in the summer of 1988, Barack Obama met his future wife, Michelle, while interning at the Chicago branch of Sidley Austin. Michelle worked there for 3 years. She later went on to say that she didn't like working there because it wasn't black enough. Not that she was treated badly for being a woman or a woman of color, but that there just weren't enough black lawyers there, and it made her uncomfortable. She clearly fails to understand that blacks don't make up a very large percentage of lawyers in general. Her illogical DEI wokeness seems to go way back. A couple of things stand out to me about the law firm Sidley Austin. One, it has a massive international globalist reach. And two, with thousands of people who have worked there, I didn't recognize many besides the Obamas, but one name does stand out. J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance worked at the Columbus, Ohio branch of Sidley Austin after graduating from Yale Law School. Let me just state that if I was running a globalist deep state operation, I would want law offices throughout the world in key cities, much like Sidley Austin. Conversely, if I was looking to take down the deep state, I would infiltrate that law firm. I have no idea what Q was leading us to when Q said happy hunting. Was he letting us know about Vance back in 2017, or was he leading people to something I didn't personally find? Whatever the case, caused me to discover some things I never would have otherwise. I'm going to do my best to try and convince the reader that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have been working together for at least a decade. If you aren't a fan of Vance, you will likely want to read what I have to say as adding up to just a bunch of coincidences. I understand. I'm going to bring up a lot of people you likely have no connection to, names you are hearing for the first time. My advice: don't worry about connecting all the red strings and thumbtacks on the corkboard of your mind. My advice is just make a ding sound in your mind every time a connection is made to Trump, and to add them up when you're done reading. Remember that a lot of what I'm about to talk about occurred before Trump ever announced he was running for president and before Vance ever became a politician. Let's look at the name. J.D. Vance. J.D., James David, but J.D. also stands for Juris Doctor, a professional degree required to practice law. Essentially, a J.D. is a law degree. Interesting, but maybe not a symbol, just the name he goes by. In Hebrew, Vance means God is gracious. But I want to focus on the Old English meanings. In Old English, Vance means people who live near marshlands or swamp dwellers. I can hear it now. Someone out there saying, see, I told you J.D. Vance is part of the swamp. Bear with me. The name Trump has a few different meanings. Two of them I find particularly interesting. One meaning of the name Trump is conquering king, while another is triumphant victory. Now, consider what you are reading when you see a Trump-Vance flag or banner. You are essentially reading conquering king over the swamp or triumphant victory over the swamp. Does anyone think this is a coincidence? Does anyone think Trump didn't know exactly what he was doing when he picked a running mate with the name Vance? It would seem to me that Trump knew he was going to pick Vance as his second VP long ago. But what if I told you Vance wasn't his original name? J.D. Vance was born Bowman after his biological father. Later, his mother remarried and he took his stepfather's name of Hamel. In April of 2013, 11 years ago, he changed his name to Vance after his grandmother. What was it I said? Trump and Vance have likely been working together for over a decade. It wouldn't surprise me if Vance has been working with the Patriots since his time in the military, and that everything since then has been about building to the point we're at today. How about the name Pence? Pence is derived from Pentz, P-E-N-T-Z. The distinguished German surname Pence is derived from Pentz, the name of a city located in the Baltic territory of Pomerania. Where is Pomerania? Prussia. Have you read the Prussiagate series? What do the Trump-Pence signs and banners essentially say? Triumphant victory over Prussia. Was Trump's first term about taking out the cabal families and the second term about removing the cabal's puppets that have been left in place? This is a question, not a statement. I'm not going to argue whether Pence is good or bad, as he obviously isn't a part of Trump's second term, and he is not endorsing Trump. What I will say is that Pence was used by Trump for a purpose. Some say Trump lacks discernment for picking Pence as his VP. Does anyone accuse Jesus Christ of lacking discernment for picking Judas as one of his disciples? There's a saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. It's at least plausible that Trump used Pence to give the deep state a sense of false security, as well as to pass on disinformation to them. Some know that J.D. Vance entered the Marine Corps and fought in the Iraq War. Afterwards, he attended and graduated from Ohio State University, after which he graduated from the Yale School of Law. This is where he met his wife, Usha, also a lawyer. Now, let's start making some connections between Trump and Vance before Trump ever walked down that escalator announcing his running for president, as well as before Vance ever became a politician. While at Yale, J.D. Vance was introduced to his future wife, Usha, by their mentor, Professor Amy Chua. Chua specializes in international business transactions and globalization. Sounds a lot like Sidley Austin. While at Yale, J.D. also met his future mentor and Trump ally, Peter Thiel, who took an immediate liking to him. This was 2011. Professor Amy Chua is married to another law professor at Yale, Jed Rubenfeld, who specializes in constitutional law and First Amendment rights. Recently, Rubenfeld was publicly critical of Trump's guilty verdict, calling it dangerous and unconstitutional. Chua and Rubenfeld's daughter clerked for Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court justice that Trump appointed. When Kavanaugh was being attacked during his Supreme Court nomination by people like Kamala Harris, Amy Chua wrote a letter of support for Kavanaugh, essentially vouching for his character. Chua was later attacked by the media and accused of inappropriately partying with her students. This was an obvious attempt at character assassination, the kind we've seen many times before when people go against the deep state. Speaking of Brett Kavanaugh, Usha Vance clerked for him, as well as the Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts. She also clerked for Amul Thaper. Thaper was Trump's first Court of Appeals appointee in 2017. Let's get back to J.D. Vance. As I mentioned, Vance graduated from Ohio State University, then Yale Law School. Vance clerked for a couple of years before joining Trump ally Peter Thiel at Mithril Capital in 2015, where he learned the ins and outs of the big tech and venture capital world. Vance left Mithril Capital to start Narya Capital. Narya Capital funded the company Rumble. Most reading this article recognize Rumble as being the free speech version of YouTube, which is closely integrated with Trump's Truth Social. Narya means a powerful person, manly. Editor's note. I thought it was worth pointing out here that every project Thiel has been involved with is named after Lord of the Rings lore. Mithril is a mythical metal that is light as a feather but hard as dragon scales, while Narya is the name of one of the elven rings of power that Gandalf ends up becoming the steward of, burning bright. Let's go back and look at a judge that Vance clerked for after law school, Alex Kozinski. Judge Kozinski was appointed by Reagan in 1985 to the Ninth Circuit. He was likely going to be appointed to the Supreme Court by Trump until he was suddenly accused by multiple women of sexual harassment. Kozinski claims he was guilty of making off-color jokes, nothing more. He retired in 2017. One of the women who accused Kozinski of sexual harassment was Catherine Q. Q spent 27 years as the executive director of Stanford University Office of Technology Licensing, Stanford Research Institute. Hopefully, these three words mean something to the reader. The Stanford Research Institute. That is where much of the CIA funding goes to develop technology, as well as mind control research. The technology is later given to private citizens, where they become the face of the technology. Think Google or Facebook or Apple or Amazon. Think MK Ultra. KU was the executive director of the technology licensing at Stanford. You decide what to make of that. To me, it says that when she was in charge of licensing, CIA and DARPA created technology to figureheads in the private sector. As I mentioned, Kozinski was the victim of character assassination after it became clear that Trump was looking to appoint him to the Supreme Court. Following the attack on his character in 2017, Kozinski retired. In July of 2022, Kozinski joined Trump's legal team in suing Twitter for forcing him off the platform 2 years prior. It's important to understand that Elon Musk didn't buy Twitter until late October of 2022, 4 months later. What does this all mean? I haven't really solved anything in this research. I can't say anything as definitive as it was Colonel Mustard with the candlestick in the conservatory, but it is just interesting to discover all these connections. I didn't know any of this or any of these people minus the Vances before I did this research. What did I uncover? J.D. Vance, his wife, his mentor at Yale, his mentor's husband, their daughter, the judges they clerked for, Vance's mentor in business, the social media company he funded, all of them have ties to Trump. Many of these connections go back to before Trump or Vance ever became politicians. I hope I've made it clear that the plan has been in place for quite a while. Trump and Vance's relationship goes back much further than most people would assume. Trump's choice of Vance as his VP pick probably goes back to immediately after Vance graduated from Yale and changed his name in 2013. Likely it goes back even further. Thiel took a liking to Vance in 2011, but from 2013 on, there are way too many coincidences to ignore. As Trump has said, he rarely went to D.C. before he became president, so the connections aren't a case of running in the same circles. Trump has planned his second term for a long time, and in my opinion, Vance has been an important part of that plan from early on. Some are probably thinking, but Vance has said some bad things about Trump in the past. Consider that it could be kayfabe, fake animosity, created to give an illusion of distance between Trump and Vance. If Vance appeared to be an anti-Trumper, it would allow him an easier path around the Democrats and neocons on his way to being elected senator. Maybe this information I presented didn't change some people's opinions, but I hope it made some of you think that there may be more to what we are experiencing than meets the eye. How is it possible there are so many connections to Vance and Trump that occurred before either of them ever got into politics? Trump, an older New York real estate billionaire, and Vance, a much younger military vet turned law student from Ohio. These guys didn't exactly ride the same subway home from work or have season tickets next to each other at Yankee Stadium. Being Republican politicians didn't come until later. Did the same military leaders who recruited Trump to run for POTUS in 2016 also recruit Vance into politics? If I'm right, and this much detailed planning has gone into Trump's second term, I, for one, am excited to see it play out. It's hard not to see that a switch has recently been turned. And now everything that comes out in the media seems to make the left look bad while vindicating Trump. The best isn't yet to come. The best is currently happening. And that's the latest from the brilliant Erik Carlson. Do me a favor, my dear friends, hit the thumbs up on this video. Helps enormously when you do that. As a result, I'm begging you, it would be nice to have a Reading Epic Threads get into the Rumble leaderboard once in a while. And it is possible. It's very possible. So check that out. I want to hear from you, by the way. I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Team Smooth. Aha! I would love to see all of you check out the election show. So it's right here on this channel. D82, thank you so much for being here. Yorko7, thank you. And MS List. Looks like another coup group has come together. It is the Vance Teal connection that bugs me when PayPal tried to grab customers' money. All right, so I'm going to put this on the screen. It is the Vance Teal connection that bugs me when PayPal tried to grab customers' money. I'm not really sure what you're talking about there. Do you think that Teal was involved with PayPal at the time that they pulled that crap? I don't think so. But anyway, it's nice to see those of you who are watching on YouTube. So check this out. Right now, those of you who are watching on X, my X, formerly Twitter, handle is pgunnels1, 189. On Reading Epic Threads YouTube channel, there's 2 of you watching. On the Patrick Gunnels YouTube channel, there are 2 of you watching. That's remarkable. Anyway, I am dealing right now, guys, with a conundrum of epic proportions. And it boils down to the fact that I want to start a very special group of people who are customers of my businesses that I make special offers to, and that I have a very special private YouTube channel, or possibly, yeah, YouTube would be the way to go. And I think I have a way of reaching out to every single one of them. But it's through constant contact. That's really the only effective way for me to get in touch with every single one of them, to invite them. And some people think that that's spammy. I think that there's a way to do it where nobody gets mad, and make sure to say right up front, if you don't want me to email you, then just say so right now and we'll take care of it. But I don't know. What do you say? Well, it's kind of been a short show because it was a great piece from my friend Erik Carlson. But I think we should do another one. What do you think? Sound good? One more piece sounds pretty good. So what do we got? Ooh, big ass one from Naomi Wolf. Too big. I don't know, y'all. Then there's 2 giant ones from Mike Stone of Virology. I do not. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Maybe I should just talk to you. Maybe I should just talk to you for a few minutes. Like Bloodright. How do you? By the way, nice avatar, Bloodright. My goodness, a demon priest there. I got a YouTube video taken down for dangerous conspiracy theories because I read a letter from the rightful Pope, His Excellency Carlo Maria Vigano. Dude, freaking YouTube is just off the charts wicked at this point. All right. Michelle Lee 331 says, that's me. Yes, please send me emails. Yeah, I think most of you be fine with it. Like an email once a month for me, letting you know what's going on the down low and what we're going to be doing going forward at Epic Minerals and Tulip Blooms. So the other thing I wanted to show you is a little thing called tulipblooms.shop. And that's this website that my lovely wife has put together. And, ooh, Team Smooth, so far loving what I ordered. Thank you so much for that. I'm also going to create a dedicated email to this idea of like a special email. Guys, pumice soap, badass stuff. All of these soap. We've got a beard elixir, a hair and beard elixir, castor blend, body and scalp serum. Castor is amazing, and it's one of those suppressed solutions. Those things. And we've got subscriptions available as well. So you can sign up and you can automatically get a permanent discount on some sort of subscription. So if you start noticing, all right, I run out of rainfall once a month, boom, you can subscribe and you just have it shipped out to you once a month for a permanent discount. Another thing would be the body butter. I mean, it comes in 4 ounces at a time. And ooh, what's this? What's this one? Yeah, it comes in 4 ounces at a time. And you know, some people go through that kind of quick. I don't have an 8-ounce version of this stuff, although I probably should. But you can sign up for subscriptions at tulipblooms.shop. Don't forget promo code Shapiro. And I think I'm going to be sending out an email to all customers at the same time. However, I'm going to be very, very careful to do it in a way that pisses off the fewest people. Some people, like my friend Matt, if he gets an email from anybody, he gets pissed off. He doesn't like it. I'm not like that. When Robert Barraquette, which is a shirt company, when they send me an email once a week, I click on it every time to see if there's a shirt I want to buy. Most of the time, the answer is no, it's too expensive. But they might be running a good deal once in a while, and I appreciate the spam. Call it spam if you like, but if I get an email, it's because I've not blocked it. If I get an email and it's like spam, like, you know, I don't have anything like that. Every single email I get has been curated in such a way that I make sure that I stop the emails that I don't like. So anyway, once a month sound like a good clip for how often to email everybody, and then invite you maybe to a very, very exclusive stream where I tell you what's going on. We talk about product development. Here's something we're doing. Product development. And I'm going to tell this to all of you. We are going to be developing fragrance lines. Now, when I say fragrance lines, I don't mean fragrance oils. Those are synthetic. They suck. They don't suck. They're really good for some purposes. Like, for example, scented candles, always use fragrance oils. They don't get into anything, but you don't want to put fragrance oils on your skin. So, bam, you make a fragrance. That fragrance made by me is going to be nothing but essential oils, organically produced essential oils, with maybe a carrier oil or maybe alcohol if it's just the cologne. So we got to figure out a way to get our hands on the nicest for your skin alcohol, etc. Now, I think that one of our creators at Badlands might be very close to saying yes to having a signature cologne. And I'm really excited about it. Unfortunately, another thing about colognes and things like that, you have to put the fragrances together. You have to put the essential oils together, and then you have to let them mold with each other for like 2 weeks in a dark place. So it's going to be a long 2 weeks, because in my life, 2 weeks is an eternity. So what I'm hearing from you wonderful people in the chat is that you dig the idea, as long as I keep it reasonable, to email all of you. And I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it right at the end of the month because we've got product releases coming. We've got some amazing directions we're going in. And also, you're going to be part of the product development process if you're in that email. You're going to be kind of like my development committee in a certain way. Ziva 95, meld or mold? I saw mold, but I think meld is better, Ziva. What type of deodorant, soap, and shampoo do you recommend? So as far as soap is concerned, go to tulipblooms.shop. Buy the soap. The soap is amazing. The liquid soap, the bar soap, amazeballs. Now, if you went to Deadwood, then you would have had a chance to buy deodorant from me, and it's good stuff. I've got some tea tree and lavender deodorant that we're going to be coming out with soon. Check that out. It's gonna be awesome. Let's see what else. As far as shampoo is concerned, we're developing our own shampoo. And I don't use shampoo for obvious reasons. So unfortunately, that would be a question to ask my wife because she has just this thick, flowing hair. I don't know. Will buying your products help me dance better? The freaking Zeolite and Wellness Extra will make you dance better. Might make you start tap dancing. You take enough of them. They're a big energy boost. But make sure to use promo code Shapiro. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go because I'm going to make chicken karai for me and the babies and my wife, of course. So everybody, thank you so much for being here today. Ooh, another product I'm looking into is an anti-itch cream. I'm just going to share this with you guys. So this stuff, Melagel. I don't know if you remember Patriot Switch. Well, they're basically advertising for Melaleuca, which is kind of like Amway, but Patriot, good guys. And this stuff is great. I used it on an itch, and I used a little bit of it on a zit right between my eyes. It's good stuff, and it's just tea tree oil and some other stuff. I can make that. I got that stuff in inventory. I've got that stuff in storage right now. I can make this stuff, and I could do it in a way that it's crazy organic. Like I think I could do it more organic than they do it. I'm not 100% sure. This stuff was pretty cheap. I think we can really compete in the anti-itch cream area. We can compete in making a Vicks Vapo Rub alternative using pharmaceutical grade white petrolatum for those of you who think that stuff is okay, which I do. I think Vaseline's fine. But if you don't, then we can use virgin organic shea butter in concert with some babasu oil. And although that won't be as much of a barrier to letting moisture escape, it is truly natural. Whereas you're never going to be able to make natural petroleum jelly. It's literally part of the refinement process of petroleum. Anyway, I'm running my mouth way too much. I am interested in your opinions on these things, though. So if you have any thoughts on white petrolatum, aka petroleum jelly, I want to hear from you. If you have any thoughts on new products you'd like to see released from either epicminerals.net or tulipblooms.shop, promo code Shapiro, please let me know about that. Don't forget to like this video if you can. Appreciate it enormously when you do that for me. And then finally, if you're on Twitter, retweet, all that good stuff. Let us pray. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits who prowl about the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you tomorrow.